Hello, thank you for joining me today. I am God's servant Maxwell Nnawuihe. It is good news all the way from the United States of America. The United States Congress has introduced a new resolution that is calling upon the Nigerian government to make sure that all the legal proceedings that concerns the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comply with the constitutional standards of Nigeria, the standard of the Constitution of Nigeria, and also due process. Not only that, it must also comply with international human rights obligations. International, not only limited to what the Constitution of Nigeria says, not only limited to what the laws of Nigeria says, but also that as you sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment, does it comply with the Constitution of Nigeria? Does it comply? The sentencing of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment, did it comply with the due process of law? Did it also comply with the international human rights obligations or international human rights standards? Did it comply with it? That is what this resolution means. Somebody called me from Texas about 2-3 days ago on Tuesday, the 2nd of June. Emmanuel called me from Texas. And he informed me of this wonderful breaking news, this update. And he said that this is indeed prayer answered. I said, this is prayer answered. God is working in a mysterious way. Do you know they are discussing about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu right now at the Knesset of Israel? The Knesset. The Knesset is the highest parliament of Israel, which is the Senate of the state of Israel. The discussion about the release of Nnamdi Kanu is ongoing right now at the Knesset. The discussion about the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is now ongoing at the floor, right in the Congress of the United States, the House of Representatives, and a resolution has been made. What does it mean for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release? What does this resolution mean? Some of you may not have known in details what it means. I will be giving you the details of what it means. I will be playing also a clip in order to balance your view and your perspective. You need to understand that this is the hand of God, is the work of God that is being made manifest in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in response to our ceaseless prayers, in response to the prophetic power and dimension, the intersection of divine intervention that God has brought to bear in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. What does it really mean? I will be sharing with you. It is actually increasing the international pressure on the Nigerian government for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And of course, this is making a positive impact on the independence of Biafra. You need to be happy. If you are one of the supporters of Nnamdi Kanu and also you believe in the self-determination of Biafra, you believe in the freedom of Biafra, you need to be happy. You need to be excited. So we will be breaking down and also looking into the significance of the Congress resolution. You know who moved this resolution? It was John James of the subcommittee on Africa. It is very powerful. You need to stay with me. Please like this video now, like it and share it everywhere. If you are coming across Maxwell Nnawuihe YouTube channel for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. So you need to understand that this very development is influencing the future of the Biafra struggle. It is influencing it in a very positive way. This you need to understand. Now, before we go into the significance and what this resolution means for the release of Nnamdi Kanu and for the Biafra independence, I want to bring to you the full read, the complete document of this resolution. I had to go after Emmanuel called me from Texas. I had to go to the Congress of the US, the website, to look out for the document in order to make sure that this is authentic. And when I got there, I saw it published, the full document Now, listen, after the full document, I'm going to play a clip, and after playing a clip, I am going to tell you what this really means. We will look into it together. Once again, stay with me. Don't log out. Like this video, please. It's important. So this is coming from congress.gov, congress.gov, which is the United States Congress, calling on the, which is a HRES 1321, calling on the government of Nigeria to ensure that all legal proceedings involving Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are conducted in full accordance with Nigeria's constitutional obligation and international human rights commitment. That is what this document is captioned. That is the caption of the document. So I'm going to bring it to you now, one after the other. One after the other. Glory be to God. He has answered again, as usual. In the House of Representatives, May 22, 2026, Mr. James submitted the following resolution, which was referred to the Committee on Foreign Affairs. Look at the resolution. Calling on the government of Nigeria to ensure that all legal proceedings involving Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are conducted in full accordance with Nigeria's constitutional obligations and international human rights commitments. That is what this resolution is about. The second paragraph, whereas Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a political figure known for advocating on behalf of communities in southeastern Nigeria. Note the word, they didn't call him a terrorist. They said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a political figure known for advocating on behalf of communities in southeastern Nigeria, which is Biafra. Whereas Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has publicly expressed his views regarding political self-determination and governance through speech and advocacy. Through speech and advocacy, not through armed struggle, not through terrorism, not through terrorist act, but through speech. And what? Advocacy. Take note. This is what the US Congress is talking about in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Next, whereas concerns have been raised regarding the circumstances of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's apprehension in Nairobi, Kenya, in June 2021, and his subsequent transfer to Nigeria. Next, whereas questions have been raised by legal observers and international bodies regarding whether this transfer complied with applicable legal standards and international obligation. So this is not just what the Nigerian government deems fit, what is convenient with the Nigeria or with the Nigerian government or authorities. No. As I've been reading out the resolution of the US Congress, you will note that they are always referring to international standard, not just the Nigerian standard. Next, listen to this very part. Because this very part is the grandfather of all, is the grandfather which came into being in 2022, coming from the spiritual dimension, our 3 months fasting and prayers for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the United Nations judgment. Listen. Whereas the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, in an opinion is also judgment, okay? In an opinion issued on July 20th, 2022, that opinion was actually adopted between the 30th of March and the 8th of April. and it was transmitted in July. Do you know why it took time to be transmitted in July? Officially transmitted in July? Because after God brought that judgment, people were not talking about it. It was suppressed in the realm of the spirit. And in the month of April, God opened my eyes to see that there were 23 witch doctors who were contracted to silence the United Nations judgment. And God asked us to go into fasting and prayers. And I declared another 23 days fasting and prayers. Our church observed that 23 days fasting and prayers. This was after the 3 months fasting and prayer from the 2nd of January to the 31st of March, 2022. We switched over to the 23 days fasting and prayer. And at the end of it, the wave of the information and the news of the United Nations judgment for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu began to come out to the public domain. And it was now released officially on the 20th of July, 2022. Before the appeal court judgment on the 13th of October, 2022. It is the power of the Most High. It's not by might. It's not by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord. Glory be to God. The resolution went on to mention the United Nations judgment, whereas the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, in an opinion issued on July 20th, 2022, found that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's detention violated international human rights obligations and called for his unconditional release and called for his release and the provision of remedies. The provision of remedies talks about the compensation. That was what the United Nations judgment recommended, that there must be compensations, that Nnamdi Kanu must be paid adequate compensation. And this judgment is binding on the Nigerian government and also on the Kenyan government. We continue with the resolution. Some people think we are joking. We are not joking. God is with us. Whereas courts in Kenya have issued rulings concerning the legality of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's transfer from Kenya to Nigeria. Whereas concerns have been raised by human rights organizations regarding due process, access to counsel, and the conditions of detention. Whereas prolonged detention without adequate medical care raises serious humanitarian concerns. Whereas the protection of freedom of expression, fair trial rights, and humane treatment of detainees are fundamental principles recognized under the international law, including the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Whereas the United States has a long-standing commitment to advocating for the protection of human rights and the rule of law globally. And whereas the United States has previously engaged diplomatically in cases involving individuals detained abroad where credible concerns of wrongful detention exist. Listen, now therefore, I love this. Now therefore, be it resolved that the House of Representatives of the United States, number one, calls on the government of Nigeria to ensure that all legal proceedings involving Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are conducted in full accordance with Nigeria's constitutional obligations and international human rights commitments. This you need to understand. You need to understand it. Number two resolution. urges the government of Nigeria to carefully consider the findings the findings of the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention and to take appropriate steps consistent with those findings. I think some people are saying that the United Nations judgment, it will not make any impact. It doesn't make any sense. Nigeria is a sovereign state. Nigeria can choose to obey it or not. Nigeria can choose to comply with it or not. Hey, you said that the United Nations has given judgment. Well, okay, why is Nnamdi Kanu still in detention now? Now he has been imprisoned. Nigeria can choose to disobey the law. Nigeria can choose to do away or try to pretend or feign ignorance of its signatory to the United Nations Charter, which makes the decisions of the UN binding on Nigeria. Nigeria can choose to do all of that, but that does not exonerate Nigeria. That does not remove the burden or the responsibility of compliance with the United Nations Charter, which Nigeria ratified from Nigeria. The burden remains on Nigeria. Whether they comply with it today or not, whether they comply with it yesterday or not, whether they comply with the UN judgment in 2022 or not, you can see that the same judgment is still speaking, because it came from the realm of the spirit. It came from the realm, from the prophetic chamber, from the very altar of prayer. No power, no politics, no influence, no witchcraft oppression, no manipulation, no betrayal, no sabotage can actually silence the voice of the judgment in the favor of Nnamdi Kanu, which came from the realm of the spirit. Izani kareba diaka emes son tareba shalaba kantenia rabada emes ota itaria. Number 2, urges the government of Nigeria to carefully consider the findings of the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention and to take appropriate steps consistent with the findings of the United Nations judgment in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Number 3, I want you to like and share this video. If you have not liked it, please like. Are you not happy with the good news? Are you not happy? If you are happy with this good news, if you like the good news, like this video and share it. And I want you to type in the chat section, thank you, James John. Thank you, John James, US Congressman. Type it in the chat section right now. Thank you, John James, for speaking for Nnamdi Kanu. Type it. US Congressman John James, thank you for allowing God to use you to speak. Remember, after now, I'm going to go into the details of what it means, what this resolution means, and also I'm going to play a clip. Okay, what I'm going to do is, after reading out this resolution, I will play the clip. After playing the clip, I will now go to what it means, the summary of what this resolution really means. Also, type in the chat section, MNK, freedom is coming to you speedily. Type it in the chat section now. If you are just joining, I am God's servant, Maxwell Nnawuihe. Type in the chat section, MNK, freedom is coming to you speedily. And also, you can say a word of prayer in the chat section. We must continue. Number 3. The resolution encourages the government of Nigeria to ensure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has consistent access to legal counsel, necessary medical care, and humane conditions of detention. Number 4. The resolution encourages the Secretary of State to engage with the government of Nigeria regarding concerns related to due process, detention conditions, and respect for fundamental human rights. This is the number 4th resolution. You have to really understand what is going on here. This resolution is saying that the Secretary of State, which is Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State of the United States of America, Marco Rubio, should engage with the government of Nigeria regarding concerns related to due process in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
On Nigeria, where many were very concerned about violence against Christians. We are now actively in counterterrorism cooperation with the Nigerian government and Nigerian security forces, including a joint operation a couple weeks ago that took out the number 2 leader of global ISIS operating from inside of the country, and that continues.
Subscribe on YouTube, TikTok, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Follow Maxwell Nnawuihe for more updates. Follow us on YouTube, TikTok, X, Facebook, and Instagram for more updates.